as I was listening to what Deb was sharing, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Who wrote that? Because I don't, these things, I pray and pray when I'm in the moment of writing anything, whether it's daily word entries, whether it's something for the website. My prayer is forget about me. What needs to be heard and seen and experienced through something I've heard and seen and experienced. And that's the biggest thing about unity prayer. The fact of the matter is, there's no spot God is not. If we are feeling disconnected, if we are feeling like God is an old white guy sitting on a cloud somewhere messing with us, or rewarding or punishing us for what we're doing, that's our opportunity to align a little more closely with the reality that God is what we are living and moving and having our being within. We're in God. God is the very breath that we're breathing. It's what animates our brain. It's what moves our limbs. It's what we are inside of. If we can connect in those moments of panic, in those moments of passion, in those moments of fear, in those moments of grief or loss or whatever it is, we're already in God. We can choose to be aware of that or not. Prayer stems from our use of that substance. Prayer stems from, at any point, whether it's, oh God, please, I promise I'll never eat another chocolate again if you just give me what I want. Or whether we pray knowing that we are the prayer and we are the prayer. That'll change what happens to us. There's a statement in here that I absolutely love. It is by Sue Sicking from a letter to Adam. Ooh, sorry, can't speak. True prayer is not asking for things, not even the best of things. Prayer is the lifting of the consciousness to the place where these things are. It's a wonderful way of thinking about it. See, we've got to define our notion of God first and foremost before using prayer for anything. If you've got in your mind, okay, if we're going to Santa Claus God with our laundry list of things that we want, exactly the way that we want them, and saying, dear God, here's my prayer. Dear God, I am needing that job or that relationship or that car, or I need for that person to be healed, or I need for this to show up this way in exactly this way, and then I will be happy. What are you praying for? You've already decided exactly how it's supposed to be. You've already decided exactly what your notion of what it is that needs to show up is. And you've already made the determination of what is good or bad, right or wrong, and what the highest and best unfolding is, because you're giving the laundry list of things that you want to a Santa Claus God that you are expecting to land them on you. That's, there's no right or wrong way to pray. There are more and less effective ways, however, and that's certainly not anywhere near the most effective way to pray. And if you're in that situation of road rage and someone's shooting you the bird and you want to shoot it back, and don't we all? I mean, let's just cop to it, right? I mean, when we're in those moments and the tempers are flaring and the passion is moving, we are plugging into that possibility of, well, the reptilian brain engages, if you want the science of it, and it's fight or flight. It's how do I survive this, or do I need to run out of it? In those times, there isn't a higher happening. There is a reflexive reaction. Prayer helps us move from reaction to response. There was no thought in Deb's head in that moment of what it was she was going to do. There was simply a reaction. Prayer is that moment where we get to choose what we're connecting with instead of going on autopilot. And if we take that momentary breath, and that doesn't have to be a salutation to some God outside of us. See, this is a thing. As Deb said, I've been in unity a long time. And I remember, and some of you have, because I remember I asked the last time I spoke with you guys, that you've got some people that have been in unity a really long time. And you might remember, as I remember, the movement in unity from languaging of othering God, where God is a he. God isn't a he or a she or a them or a mom or a dad. Um, uh, God is the substance we are in. God is the allness. God is universal law. God is principle. God is the breath we are breathing and the fabric of existence. That, again, you'll find in this book. But you have to explore that and decide if that's true for you. Because if it isn't true for you, if you don't feel that God is what we're absolutely living and moving and having our being in, you are going to be activating a God that is outside of you that you need to help you from the outside in. The goal of our unity prayer is to move not from outside in, but from inside out. To have a life where we activate the godness that is inside of us. There's no spot where God is not, and that includes inside of us. Our God in our lives, the God that we are interacting with, begins within, not somewhere out there. I remember in a book, in one of the books that Myrtle wrote, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one it is right now, but I remember this took me weeks when Myrtle said, "You're not sending your prayers out at all. Where would you send them?" And I thought, uh, to somebody that knows more than I do, to somebody that, to God, that God. I need some steering. I need some help. I need somebody to tell me which way to go. I need somebody, Jesus, take the wheel, one of those things. I saw a thing on Facebook recently that was adorable. It's a cartoon. I think it was from Far Side, that had Jesus in full Jesus Day regalia standing in a cave with all these steering wheels on the wall of the cave. And it said, Jesus posing with all the wheels he's taken. But I mean, isn't it true? It's like when we get in those times, especially when we're triggered or we're scared or we're grieving or we feel like we're less than, it can be a comfort to feel like we're reaching somewhere out there for a God that is bigger, that is giant, that's going to help us, and that is going to land something on us from the outside. It just doesn't work that way. Our entire existence, everything, no matter what's happening out there, somebody can be in front of you exploding, or somebody can be coming at you for a giant hug. Your life, my life, our lives are created from the inside out. It's our reaction or our response to whatever is happening out there that is going to determine what happens in here or what happens within us. One of the most sacred moments of my life, one of the moments that I felt closest to God and I felt the most holy and sacred and in a weird way absolutely connected and joyous, was holding my husband's hand when he took his last breath. Now that may sound bizarre or completely wrong, or now some of you may have experienced it, but my husband, his body was racked with cancer. He had so much pain they couldn't keep up with it and try to keep him conscious. And as much as I love him today, he's been gone almost 4 years, and as much as I love him actively today and want him right here, sitting right next to me while I'm doing this, I know that it was time for him to leave his body. He knew it was time for him to leave his body. And when that moment came, I've never seen a human so happy. He was gleeful. His whole expression changed to the happiest I've ever seen him in his entire life. And when he exhaled and let himself go, it was beautiful. It was sacred. It was holy. And boy, was God in that moment like I've never experienced God before. When all the medical staff came rushing in to try to, do what it is that they're supposed to do, or that they feel they're supposed to do, it felt like the worst invasion I had ever experienced. I felt absolute presence of God. This is something that would be the saddest thing to date in my life for me to experience. The bottom fell out of my life with the death of my husband. And yet, in that moment, God was the presence of beingness that there was nothing outside of. If we can understand that that's happening around us and in us and with us in every single moment, whether we're in incredible joy or whether we're in incredible sorrow, God is the fabric of existence that we are within. When we connect in prayer from that space, because here's the thing, so many times we can feel like, well, my prayer wasn't answered. My husband died. My prayer would have been that he cured miraculously from cancer, that he got up and walked away, that suddenly his kidneys and his liver were functioning and he was healthy. That would have been my earthly prayer, my wifely prayer, my out of fear prayer, my out of love prayer. But in unity, we know that if we're inside the existence and the fabric of Godness, even in those moments, we know God is flowing and God is outpicturing, and it's what's happening. Sometimes the healing doesn't bring the body with it. Sometimes the healing is the releasing of the body. If the prayer is, there's no spot God is not, I am living, moving, and breathing within God. God is living in, through, and as me. God is not some outside force that is helping or hurting me or judging me. My thoughts, my beliefs, the things I am holding long enough and strong enough can't help but be manifest in my life in some way. And my belief in that time, though I wanted my husband so bad to stay, was I love him and I want what's best and highest for him. And in that part of his life, that's what was best and highest. So it depends on what we connect to. We can connect in that moment to how much, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. This isn't what I want. Well, that's disconnecting from the awareness that God is steering, that God is the flow, that God is the very experience that we are having. If we can embrace that God is the allness, it really, really, really changes the way that our life shows up. Part of our unity prayer is also what Charles and Myrtle called race consciousness. They're not talking about the color of someone's skin. They're talking about human race beliefs, the beliefs that humans hold as a collective. See, we're experiencing those in the macro and the microcosm of our lives. Right now, holy moly, politics is upside down. People are stressing. Money, the perceived nature of are we okay or not is going up and down and up and down. The stock market, they refer to it in this book as well. The stock market, this product of imagination. The stock market is not based on any tangible product. The worth of any tangible thing that you can put your hands on. The stock market, whether it crashes or soars, is simply a collective belief of a bunch of people of how the economy is going to go. Whether it crashes or whether it flourishes is based on a non-tangible perception of where money's at. It's a fascinating dynamic. when we're moving in and through God, and we're moving in and through unity prayer. See, unity prayer is simply this, and there's steps. There's these 5 steps: relaxation, concentration, meditation, affirmation, and gratitude. There's these 5 steps. You don't need 5 steps. Sorry, Charles and Myrtle, I love you. You don't need 5 steps. You need to realize that you're in God. Take a breath. As Linda and Deanne say in this book, relaxing into prayer is not about relaxing your shoulders and relaxing your muscles. It's about relaxing what you're telling yourself about what you're about to pray about. Are you praying that someone has a miraculous healing? Are you praying that you have that relationship you've always wanted? Are you praying that your bank account will swell and overflow? Where are you praying from? Not who or what are you praying to? Where are you praying from? Because you have the option, if you believe that God is the allness, that every breath we take is the breath of God itself, you can pray from the consciousness of God's substance. This or something better, we say a lot of times. We can pray from that place of not praying for an outcome, knowing that God is in the outcome, that God's already in the outcome and in the situation that we're in now, and knowing that the best and the highest is unfolding, even when that doesn't look like that's what's happening. My husband died. My life fell apart, it felt like. I didn't know where I was going to go, how I was going to replace a full-time income, what I was going to do with a house that I suddenly couldn't afford, how this was all going to work. Fast forward through faith, because I am nothing if not radically faithful. I practice absolute surrender on a daily basis, and identifying that God is in it, that sometimes the answer to the prayer is no, and that that's the best answer I could possibly have, even though in the moment I want to lay on the floor like a toddler and kick and scream. Sometimes the best answer you can get is no. And what happened when the bottom fell out of my life is that I found that I have wings. I found that faith will carry me. I found that I now have this amazing angel on the other side of the veil that I can't see, that is still steering and helping me find my way in life. And I ended up guest speaking at Unity of Sebring. I didn't even know where Sebring was, and I lived in Florida most of my life. I ended up at this place that I ended up falling in love with, and them falling in love with me. I now not only have the house that I didn't know how I was going to keep, with my son living in it and paying the mortgage, but I have a second house here in Sebring where I brought my mom to bring with me, or brought my mom with me, who needed care and help. I am almost 4 years down the road. I just stepped back into a relationship. Can you believe it, Deb? Oh my God. and I feel my husband in the steering, and it's completely different and weird and wonderful all at the same time. And I'm leading a unity congregation, which I never thought I would do. If we leave room for God to amaze and astound us, the God that begins within, if we allow ourselves to, instead of trying to control outcomes or decide what's best, if we allow ourselves to release to the allness and know that that allness is so much more than we can perceive of in any given moment, if we allow ourselves to trust, God is always going to amaze and astound us every single time. I want to close with this before we move into meditation. From this, wait a minute, I saved it on the wrong place. Oh no, here it is. There we go. This is from Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. And by the way, I'm going to do a little meditative exercise after I do this, and then I'm going to hang out. If you guys have any questions, if you want to chat, if you want to move into some conversation, I'm going to hang out afterward. I wish I was there so that we could do it in person. And this is what we got. So we use it, right? We allow God to astound and amaze us in the technology. Myrtle said, God is life. We make that life into living. God is love. We make divine love into loving. God is substance. We take the substantial reality and bring it through into the manifest world. God is wisdom. We claim oneness with divine wisdom, and it expresses through us as wise thoughts and decisions and actions, the light of life that glows from heart and face, and yes, every cell of the body. It's all God. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you guys for listening. Now, so I have no idea how long that was. I don't even know if I'm running over. I'm sorry if I am. And why don't we just kind of take that into a space of expansion and meditation, and know that whatever we're praying, the answer is divine flow. We don't have to ask, is this thing on? Am I being heard? Am I being seen? We can just take a breath and let God move, living, breathing, moving in, through, and as us. So we take a breath. We allow all that has transpired in our time together today to just settle within. We allow it to move through our breath, to move through our minds, to land and take root in our hearts. We allow it to inform us and to lead us to new and different questions. We lean into the godness that we are already in, knowing that we won't fall, that it will support and embrace and lead us. We feel right now the blood pulsing through our veins, the muscles moving in our bodies, our bones strong, holding us up. The potential and possibility in the thoughts and the dreams that we hold. We feel the godness in each one of those things. We are so grateful to have heard the call to show up in this morning. We are so open, hearts, eyes, and minds, to where it can lead us. We are so ready, willing, and able, moving within God, to allow all of this and more to do its work within us, and then for us to do our work within the world. We take just a moment to allow any questions that might rise up to arise. We hold them gently and preciously. We hold them for a moment in the silence, knowing that answers are ours when the time is right. We allow them to sit held gently in the loving embrace of Godness in the silence for just a moment.